Lucio.
Luce.
Lucio.
Lucio. You said you live in Japan. Wait, how many years do you live in Japan?
I've been here a little bit over 8 years.
8?
It's been a while, yeah.
You don't sound like Italian.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I used to live in America for just about as much, about 8 years and change.
Now, let's talk about that in his car.
Let's.
蚊に刺されすぎて移動する
It's a good car!
No mosquito. It is a good car.
No mosquitoes anymore. So, now, let's move on to topic. Would you like to work Japanese company?
No.
Why?
Now, this is not to say that I don't like working in Japan. I like working in Japan. I like what I do. So there is a proviso. If it's a new Japanese company, so say for example, if you open a company and it's a Japan-based company, with the experience that you have, with your mindset, yes, I would. But if it's an old-style Japanese company, no.
The reason?
Well, the work ethic is very different, and the work style is very different. The way the boss treats the employees is very different. The way the employees are supposed to work is very different. The benefits are very different. The money is very different.
Can you come on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're tiny. And there is a lot of rules when you work for a Japanese company, especially old school, that a lot of Westerners don't really expect, and they're very surprising. And to the point that even the way employees are disciplined is very different. For example, bosses who yell at their employees, that's common in Japan, very uncommon elsewhere.
But first off,
I've seen it happening with my own eyes, actually.
Oh!
Like, not to me, but I was right there when I saw...
In front of you?
I was right there. I was in the room. Yeah, and the boss was screaming at the employee because the employee made a mistake, I'm sure.
How did they scold them?
Well, they were calling them stupid.
Stupid?
Yeah, like, how could you make a mistake like this? You're so stupid. And because I talked to the guy who was screaming later, the boss, and he explained that according to him and according to a lot of other people, in fact, it's a way to really teach. It's a teachable moment. And you do it because you care. That kind of bullshit that I don't really believe in. Yeah, but it's very common. It happens a lot.
First off, I was kind of really surprised, about Japanese company.
I don't work as an employee, but I do work with Japanese companies a lot. Also, how here there is, I don't remember the word in Japanese, but there is they call them either the desk employee or the window employee. So pretty much as employees, how do you call them in Japanese?
窓際族.
So those people, they are supposed to be fired, but the company doesn't fire them. They just stay on the job and they give them menial tasks. They push them on the side and they put them literally at the end of the office to just do nothing all day, every day. You know what I mean? So that is very Japanese, but that is not really one of the reasons why I wouldn't do it, because a lot of people would be like, well, that's good. I can rest. I don't have to do much. But for example, overtime is not mandatory here in Japan. So a company can ask you to stay longer hours without paying you those hours. It's becoming much, much better now. That's why I told you, if it's a new company, I would work there. But if it's an old company, I wouldn't.
キャノン世界突撃 Vlog
Also, the nomikai thing, like for example, if your boss asks you to go drink and you kind of have to say yes, because otherwise it looks like, you don't care about the company and stuff. Doesn't happen in Europe.
What else did happen? The reason why you don't want to work with Japanese company?
Well, this is not something specific that happened, but there is a few things. For example, when you quit a job here in Japan, you have to explain why you're quitting. You have to actually give a letter to explain why you're quitting your job.
Wait, don't you guys need to do that in other countries?
God, no.
What? How do you then work?
We have to give a letter that is kind of like a letter of resignation, for example, or we have to give a notice, like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month before. Yes, of course we have to do that. But we don't have to justify why we're quitting. We don't have to justify a reason good enough to quit. And then our employee doesn't challenge that. If I say, for example, I want to quit because of reason ABC, and here in Japan instead, you have to give notice, of course. You have to explain why you're doing it. And also your boss can actually tell you, no, this reason is not good enough. And I have never heard of anything like that. That's absolutely insane.
In other countries, so you said in America?
Well, I wouldn't say other countries because I can't speak for all countries, but the countries that I know of, so virtually every country in Europe and the United States, yeah, no. You have to give notice for sure. But once you're quitting, you're quitting. There is nobody that can tell you this is not a good reason to quit.
How did you quit the company?
So let's say that you're my boss.
Then how did you say to me?
I'm quitting. That's it. The letter doesn't have to be specific. Like it doesn't have. You can just simply say I quit, or you can simply write this is my 3-week notice. It doesn't really matter.
Is it letter or the email?
Either.
Either.
Yeah.
Actually, by phone call is getting kind of popular.
Oh, nice. Okay. Cool. That's good. I didn't know that.
You may heard this one about 株式会社もう無理. So もう無理, they just call them for the company instead of like
So wait.
whenever they want to quit.
If I want to quit, I hire this company to quit for me.
Yes, that is getting so popular.
Why do you think that is? Because quitting in Japan is stressful.
Yes.
That's where I'm getting to. You're scared of quitting. I don't think that's very common anywhere else.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes of course you worry about quitting because you don't want to quit but you have to quit. For example, that could be a reason, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe I have health issues, so I don't want to quit but I have to quit. In that case, it's stressful. Or maybe I really like this company but I'm not making enough money, so I want to go somewhere else. That's stressful. I understand that. But in a normal setting, generally speaking,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be stressful.
I know, right?
It shouldn't be scary. It's just, dude, I'm quitting. That's it.
Not only quitting the job is hard, but also break. So for example, my friend, she is pregnant at the moment, but she said it was kind of really hard for her to say to the company that she would like to take a rest for a while.
Not really common in Europe or in America. Like in Europe especially, maternity leave is very long and it's paid, at least half pay, and nobody's gonna give you trouble for that. But also, since you mentioned it, even regular holiday, vacation, right? People abroad, let me tell you something, guys. It is not true that Japanese people only have like a few days vacation a year. That's not true. They use only a few days vacation a year.
Do they think that way?
I grew up thinking that in Japan you have no vacation.
No way! We can, but they just don't.
You
choose
just don't
to
do it. Yeah. Actually, most Japanese companies, they will give you the same amount of time that you get in other companies in the West, like 3 weeks or a month vacation. But nobody uses them because if you
It is.
so say for example that you work in a company and you want to take 2 weeks vacation.
But it's kind of really hard because a lot of people don't go for the vacation because other people don't do it.
Yeah, because there is peer pressure, a lot of peer pressure here.
Yes, pressure!
And that's the thing. There is this idea that if I take a vacation, I am putting a burden on my coworkers,
Yes.
or my coworkers are gonna make me feel bad, right? That doesn't make sense to me because okay, now I'm taking a vacation for like let's say 2 weeks, right? And yes, of course, you have to do more work. But then next time you will take a vacation for 2 weeks, and I have to do more work.
Yes. Yes.
So now I'm rested, and then you will rest, or maybe you rest and then I will rest. That's the whole point of vacation.
Yes!
Why do you have to make it so hard on your workers? But there is this idea, these because in Japan there is a lot of peer pressure anywhere, right? Everything you do, somebody's watching, always, and it's kind of hard sometimes. But at work, according to me, it's even worse because sometimes you really need a vacation, you really need a break, but you can't do it.
How many days can you actually take a break?
Oh well, that really
For
depends on the company. So if you work for a very good company, it can be even a month and a half.
Over the year, 1.5.
If it's a normal company, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Like I think no. Plus, of course, you have sick days, of course, on top of that.
Yeah.
And then some companies they give you extra vacation days and stuff like that. And of course, you have the weekends, obviously.
Wait, so during this vacation, people get paid, right?
And yeah, it's paid vacation. Are you kidding me? Yeah, of course, yeah, it's paid. Yeah, you have to get paid. You gotta leave. You gotta eat.
Yeah, we gotta eat.
Japan usually takes a long time to change, but even Japan is changing. I can see it. New
getting
companies are very different, very different. So I would maybe, if I'm really desperate, like really back to the wall, I can't feed my dogs,
Yeah.
then I would work for a Japanese company. And I
Actually,
realize,
wait, it's so funny. Look at your face.
yeah, it seems like I'm sunburned.
Yes, sunbird.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
Well, it's the light of the phone. Oh no, it's not the phone. It's here.
Back mirror.
It's the car behind us that is flashing the lights.
Oh my! That's much better.
It's better.
I think that it's so funny to see your face.
Yeah, I thought it was just the phone. So one thing that I learned when I was there in Kyoto is that first of all, there is like a hiring season here in Japan.
Yeah.
Like,
April? No. Before that.
let's start with a good thing because I think this is also very unique to Japan. A lot of Japanese students, before they graduate from university, they already have a lot of interviews lined up.
Yes.
This is not very common, and I think it's a really cool thing because it gives the student a little bit more, security. Like maybe it's not the perfect job for you, but it's a job. In other countries, that's not very common at all.
How do they get their job then?
they will do the interviews, they will look for jobs usually after they graduate or even before they graduate, but the university doesn't help them create jobs. Here, the university is actively help you look for jobs, look for interviews rather, right? That doesn't really happen commonly. So I'm sure there are some other universities in Europe and America that do it, but it's not very common. Here it's the standard. And then not only is there a hiring season, but there is also shops that sell you specific clothing for
Like a
when
suit?
Yeah, for when you go work. Not all over the world, usually when you go to work, you wear a suit.
Yeah.
You wear like,
sure.
nice clothes, dress, whatever. Here though, everybody wears the same kind of suit. There is the OL,
Oh, yes.
right? Here in Japan, and some of you may know it, the OL look, the office lady look. Why is there an office lady look? Because everybody dresses the same. And then you have the Kaisha-yen look, which is like the look of everybody's exactly the same. And there are shops specialized in selling exactly the same uniform because it's a uniform. That is also kind of weird.
Weird?
Yeah.
How about in other countries then?
Everybody dresses with a certain standard, but not everybody dresses exactly the same. It's not a uniform.
Standard. So,
For example, we all wear a suit.
so you guys still wear the suit?
Yeah, but the suit can be black, gray, white, purple, well, maybe not purple, but yes,
Ah. We never seen a purple
yeah.
suit.
Well, no, I did. My professor in
Really?
university used to, he had a purple suit very often. Yeah, like looked like the Joker. Yeah. yeah.
Ah!
But that was in the States. But usually, so when you wear a suit, of course you wear a suit, but it's not a standardized suit. Not all suits are the same, not all shoes are the same, not all socks are the same, not all shirts are the same. That is, of course, not a reason why I wouldn't work for a Japanese company, but it's kind of funny though. It's kind of weird, yeah, for sure.
I see.
Did you know there was a hiring season in this country? A hiring season.
How about then people find their job after the graduation from the university?
Okay, and then that's when they start looking. But some people start looking before, some people start looking after, some people start looking 6 months after they graduate.
Really?
Yeah, and you still have the same chances.
That is why there is the thing called gap year.
Yeah, the gap year is like literally a full year. When university students, they travel, they go somewhere, they just do whatever other than working, yeah. And by the way, during that season, there is also a lot of people that change jobs. That's why companies have a lot of new positions available, because a lot of people who used to work for the company now work for somebody else, for something else. So a lot of places open. So there is a whole recycling of people all in March. It's weird. Or rather, I don't know if it's weird or maybe is it a good system? I wonder, like, you know exactly when to look for a job.
For me personally,
Yeah.
because that is everything that I know. I'm just like astonished. I'm just lost words for that. But what we do is just belonging to somewhere else, belonging to the school, to the university, and then right after that, belonging to the company. And actually, it is actually becoming a really kind of big problem. But like a lot of Japanese people cannot adjust their circumstances. They just cannot adjust to work instantly right after the graduation.
I see.
So that is why, do you know hikikomori? Do you know how to say in English?
There is no word in English for hikikomori, but it's kind of
Right.
like they always stay home.
The reason why you guys don't have hikikomori in specific words
Yeah.
is
yeah.
not as a command. That is why a lot of hikikomori people are existing because of that system. So I think like, what if, we can choose to work whenever they want to work. I think it's really good for us to live our life.
In Japan is a very structured society, and in order to be very structured, everything has a standard. Everything is done in a certain way. Everything is done at a certain time. So that goes across the board. Like all the rules are always the same. You have to do this, you have to do that. You have to step on this side when people are coming out of the train. You have to line up in this way. You have to speak in this way. You have to use this language. Everything is a standard, right? So even looking for a job is a standard. And the way you dress is a standard. And that starts even when you go to school. The uniform, the hair, the earrings, you cannot stick out too much. You know, the Japanese saying, everybody knows this, the nail that sticks out gets hammered.
We can dye our hair too.
Yeah, like, and sometimes I know some schools, that's not very common, but there are some schools where actually if your natural hair color is too bright, for example,
Yes!
you have to have a slip or you have to color your hair darker.
to dye, to
Yeah.
black color, yes.
Which is very unique, but it gives you the idea of how everything has to be done in a certain way. So when you go to work, is the same pattern that you've been following your whole life, right? So I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. The society does work, but it is definitely something that puts a lot of pressure, a lot of stress on the individual, because you always have to conform. And if you are a little bit different, you want to do something that is a little bit different, not very different, just a little bit, it becomes very stressful. And people judge you. And people sometimes are even jealous, because why can't she do that and I can't? Why can't he go there and I can't? Right? So yeah, I don't know which one is a better society. I just think that it's good to have structure and safety, but it's also good to foster creativity and individualism. If you think about it, like, Japan is very structured and it's very precise, but also here you have some of the most unique things, like, some very anime and manga, like the mangaka, the artists, like the art here is very unique, the movies are very unique. So when somebody gets out of society usually and becomes a little bit weird, they do something really good. Yeah, maybe, Japan takes time.
We need to change.
Yeah.
Now we just talked about some improvements or the differences between other countries and Japan. But which points do you think that Japan is good in terms of like working?
When it comes to working, there are certain aspects of Japanese society that are good. Safety, you get a job and you keep the job. It's very unlikely you're going to get fired. When you work for a company, even if you have a normal job, getting loans from the bank is much easier. So you can buy houses, you can buy cars to help your family much more easily, and the interest rates very low compared to other countries. When you have that kind of safety, that's why I was telling you earlier that maybe some people are happy with that, right? When you have that kind of safety, it helps you live a little bit more relaxed life. So on one side, you're very stressed, but on the other side, there are a lot of things that you don't realize you have that other countries don't have as easily, right? So, and also you walk in a very safe society, and everything comes with the same kind of structure. So structure creates some things that are a little bit bad, and structure creates things that are very good. So working here for a company brings you a little bit of peace of mind and a little bit of freedom to do things that otherwise you couldn't do. Yeah, there's always an upside. You never know.
We never know. Thank you so much for giving us the informative information comparing to the other countries in Japan.
And that's why we do it, baby.
Why actually did you choose Japan to come here, then you leave?
Oh, it was my main job. I used to be a history researcher.
What?
Yeah. My field is Japan, so I came here.
Hi.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Video. I'm a YouTuber.
You're a YouTuber.
Yes. What were you?
I'm a live streamer.
Live streamer. Where?
I'm from India.
Ah. How do you say hello?
Hello is namaste.
Namaste. Sorry. Namaste.
Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
How are you?
Nice to meet you. I'm so happy to see
Very,
you.
very nice to meet you.
Very, very nice to meet
What
you.
was your name again?
Canon.
Canon is a camera.
Yes.
Canon.
That's my name.
Your camera?
Yeah, I am. I'm camera.
Canon camera.
I'm camera.
I'm a photographer.
Oh wow, really?
I'm really a photographer.
So
I
if
like
you-
cameras.
Oh, so what camera do you like?
I like Nikon. I don't like Canon, sorry.
Actually, I use Panasonic.
Oh. Your name is Canon?
Canon. But I never use
And
Canon.
I like Nikon,
Nikon.
but you love Panasonic.
Yeah, Panasonic.
Complicated, man.
I've never used Canon.